Alright guys, welcome once again to Hero-Villain Mashup, and yeah, today I'm going to be pitting what would it be like if the Stormhawks had to go up against the Xenomorphs. Now obviously, the Xenomorphs aren't evil. The best way I could describe them is how Hal Jordan described them in the Alien Green Lantern crossover, where in that crossover, the Green Lanterns encountered the Xenomorphs, and Hal Jordan literally said, these things aren't evil, they're like sharks, where they're perfect killing machines, they're dangerous, but they're not inherently evil. They're just, they just do what comes naturally to them. And killing is natural to them. They're just animals, really. They don't really think other than mate, extend the colony, kill. It's really all they're for. But what would it be like if a swarm of Xenomorphs were on Atmos? Now, obviously, these things are an invasive... The Xenomorphs are, I guess you could call them invasive species, because in both sense of the terms, because they invade Terra... they can invade an area and literally become a swarm within hours, or, they can be more invasive than that with the facehuggers. So, the thing is that I would imagine that these Xenomorphs... The thing is that they could go from Terra to Terra, but it would be dangerous for them because the Xenomorphs can't fly, and the only way to traverse on foot throughout the Terras is by traveling through the wastelands, which is an incredibly hostile environment. But the Xenomorphs are built for hostile environment, and like I said, they're the perfect killing machines. I mean, hell, one can easily kill everything in sight. So, if the Xenomorphs did find their way to Atmos, I think it'd be pretty dangerous. Like maybe Xenomorph ship has been abandoned, and either the Merc Raiders or Cyclonians recover it, and all hell breaks loose. So if the Xenomorphs encountered the Stormhawks, if the Stormhawks encountered the Xenomorphs, this could be, a monumentally bad thing, because the Xenomorphs, everything's food to them. Everything is to feed the colony. And yeah, even their blood is dangerous. So the Stormhawks, as experienced as they are, they're still just kids, and I don't think they're ready for the horror that the Xenomorphs could, potentially have. Even one, if one was on the Condor alone, it would be terrifying. So there's that sense of just inherent danger from these Xenomorphs. There is a level of savagery that they have never really encountered. Even for the Cyclonians, they haven't really encountered this kind of just mindless savagery from them. So there is a lot to be there's a lot to be justifiably terrified of in terms of these kind of creatures. So with that being said, you got the other thing, too, is that even, like I said before, one Xenomorph is bad enough. Imagine a whole colony. And even more still, could you imagine what Xenomorphs could be created from, what they could harvest from Atmos? I mean, Raptor Xenomorph hybrids, Wallop Xenomorph hybrids, Blazarian. I don't even want to know what a Blazarian Xenomorph hybrid would look like. But no, these things would spread like wildfire from Terra to Terra if they could get their way. But because, these things are, Xenomorphs are incredibly adaptable. So it wouldn't be, Stormhawks versus... Now, the more I think about it, it wouldn't be just Stormhawks versus Xenomorphs. It would be Atmos versus Xenomorphs. Because I think even the Cyclonians would be like, yeah, we need to stop the, if we're going to rule the entire Terra, we're going to have to, if we're going to rule all of Atmos, we've got to, we need to take care of this, we need to do some pest control. So that's kind of how it would be. The Xenomorphs are also a hive collective. They will watch out for one another, whereas, the Stormhawks might get, and the other Sky Knights might get panicky and try to run. I doubt the Stormhawks would run. Well, Stork would try to run. But yeah, these guys are incredibly tight together. They are very tight-knit, but yeah, other Sky Knights might actually just up and run in the middle of a battle. It might actually, in the middle of a fight, it could turn into that massacre in Aliens with all the Space Marines. So, yeah. The other thing is too, even if you wound a Xenomorph with with their weapons, even if they manage to do that, these things, their blood is pretty dangerous. But there is something that could help turn the tide against the Xenomorph swarm, and that's the use of crystals. Their crystals can easily, outmatch. You've got fire crystals, lightning crystals, all these different types of crystals and gems that could easily counter whatever Xenomorphs have, even if they manage to assimilate some of the creatures and citizens of Atmos and make clones, and not clones, their own version of Xenomorphs in there, their own Xenomorph hybrids. Because they can't really assimilate crystals unless Cyclonus did something stupid like, I don't know, mix crystal energy with Xenomorphs. So I think with the use of crystals, they could get an edge on these animals because they don't know how to use crystals. Like I said, they're just they may be intelligent, but these Xenomorphs aren't capable of using crystals and whatnot as a form of defense or offense. So they don't know how to use them. The people of Atmos do. So, that might give them an edge, but the Xenomorphs will be... I guarantee you that the Xenomorphs will be taking some casualties along with them. And again, like I said, these things spread like wildfire. If you kill at least one Xenomorph, there's going to be like 6 more taking its place not too long from then. So that would be it. Is that it would be this would be a major pest control problem that would probably spread throughout all the throughout all the Terras, and unless the the Sky Knights and Cyclonians make a stable alliance, then there's going to be a new predator at the top. There's going to be a new creature at the top of the food chain, and it's neither Stormhawks, Sky Knights, or anyone for that matter. But yeah. I think this would be really cool, and I thought this would be a lot of fun. But yeah, you guys tell me, what would it be like if the Stormhawks had to go head-to-head with the Xenomorphs? Just comment below, let me know. Once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you guys later.